subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Namaste, konnichiwa. Welcome to the Nupur Tewari show. Shakti, women who fought odds. Presented by Heal Tokyo and Heal India. Today we have with us very young woman and she is an architect too. We will come to know how is her experience being in Japan, especially being in Tokyo. So with big applause, let's welcome Amy Brar. Namaste, konnichiwa, Amy. Welcome to the Nupur Tewari show, Shakti, women who fought odds.
Hi Nupur, thanks for having me. Konnichiwa.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's great to see that a young girl, doing namaste. Wonderful. So, yes, so this is kind of your first job in Japan, right?
Yeah, this is my first job just in my life.
In your life.
Yeah, first full-time job. So, yeah, my parents were definitely really surprised when I told them I'm moving to Japan from the United States. They were like, you were 5 years in America and now you just want to go to Japan. Like after spending 5 years studying there, don't you want to get a job there? I don't know, something just drew me to Japan.
So what was that something? Like, what did you think?
So, I mean, there were two things. One, I really wanted to leave the United States. I loved studying there. I loved the friends that I made there, but the working culture, I think I wasn't really attracted by that. So that was one. I just wanted to leave the United States. So then my second thought was, now where can I go? Which is not India. And there's a lot of really famous architecture firms in Japan. So I started looking up online and realized that they actually offer jobs to recent graduates. So I just took a chance. I just applied to my firm here, and that's literally the only reason I came to Japan to for this job.
So when you applied, was it the language? What was the language you applied? Because people really they want to know because Japan is all about Japanese. So for other people, for other students, and for other who really want to work in architecture firm, so they would be very much benefited.
Yeah, no, so the company that I work with, they have an office in Paris and one here as well. So even though it's a Japanese firm, they're very international. So the communication and everything is in English. I still haven't learned like any Japanese. I can basically get by with like sumimasen, uh, konnichiwa, and daijoubu desu, like, just really, really small phrases. So yeah, like you don't really need to know Japanese to work in architecture in Japan, for sure.
Great. I think many people I know after watching they will have the fear they have, like Japan means Japanese only. So I
No,
think
no,
they
no.
will get out of that.
Definitely, definitely. There are firms.
Yeah.
So I
So
would
when you
encourage.
landed, yes, Amy, yes, please.
No, I was just saying I would encourage people to just take a chance because coming here, even though I'm leaving soon, it's been 2 years now for me here and I'm leaving soon. It's been a great experience. So even if you come for like a year, whether you come for 6 months or 10 years, I feel like it's just a great experience.
Great, great, wonderful. And when you landed in Japan, how was your experience? Because that was the first time after I think because we go to Singapore or the Western countries. So
Yeah.
coming to Japan when you landed, like how did you feel?
So actually, yeah, I've been to a lot of different countries, and even though I don't speak Japanese, coming here, getting from the airport to the city, which you're a bit daunted in the beginning because it's really far away from the city. You can't take a taxi because of the exorbitant prices. So you have to navigate like the trains and the local transportation. I was a little bit nervous about that, but honestly, it was really smooth. You just like follow the signs, you get on a train, the train is super quiet and like really comfortable, and then you arrive in the middle of Tokyo and I don't know, everything is just so orderly and like moving in its own pace, and you just kind of like fit in and start moving with the pace. I don't know. It was
So
really, really easy.
was it out of the world? Like you said, like orderly. Everything was very orderly. Like because you said you lived in different countries.
It was very quiet. Like that was my first like impression. Usually you're at an airport, at a terminal or something, and then there's announcements everywhere. Like there's a lot of noise, children crying, things like that. But that's one thing I'm gonna miss about Japan is how quiet it is here. Whether you're walking on the street in your neighborhood, whether at the airport, inside a train, it's super quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Even you were not even in countryside. You were in Tokyo, proper Tokyo.
Right. I mean, obviously you have like the noises from like cars a little bit and like people obviously talking, a few announcements going on, but my general perception of Japan and especially Tokyo here has been like it's just really, really quiet. Like even my house right now, there's no external sounds coming from outside. But whenever I FaceTime with my mom back in India, you'll always hear like a few horns in the back, like something. So yeah, it's really quiet.
Yeah. So then after like what did you miss about because you lived in Singapore, then the US, then you came to Japan. Then what did you miss about those countries thing here being in Japan?
Um, so from the US, I definitely miss the food. I love the snacks and stuff. Like, I miss going to live music, but I guess mostly because of COVID, that has kind of totally stopped. But even before that, like I don't know, just yeah, food, a little bit of music, maybe some. What else do I miss? Yeah, I think it's mostly like a few food things that I miss. But it kind of like makes up for it because the food here is so amazing. But yeah, I miss the food. I miss being able to talk to strangers, actually. That's something I'm not super extroverted, but there are these like moments where you meet a stranger on the street or you're in the supermarket and you need to ask someone a question or those interactions you miss out on here. A, because I don't speak Japanese, but also just generally, like in public, people don't really like just go up to strangers or start talking to them at the bus stop or so that's a big difference here. Your life is more like solitary, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But if you go to them, they will definitely reply. But it takes
Super
time.
polite. Super polite. I mean, if you go up to anyone, ask them a question, they're not going to be rude. They'll be super nice. But I guess it's the language barrier then, because I literally cannot go up to somebody and just start chatting about something in the street, like, oh, look at that thing and how interesting or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's something I miss.
So definitely, Japan is not like us, like Indian or the Western people. Like we are anywhere we are talking. We don't mind talking to the strangers. Definitely, Japanese they are not that. Yeah, that is in their culture actually. That is cultural differences. Yeah.
But polite, like whether you're at the onsen, at the supermarket, wherever, they're just really polite.
Oh, you talked about onsen. So how was your onsen experience? So
Oh,
people back home would love to know.
I love going to onsen. I remember my first experience. It was in like a touristy part in where was it? What's the place? Hakone. Hakone.
Hakone.
Yeah, so I went with a friend. We went in Hakone. It was really, really cold. It was December, and it was a really beautiful outdoor onsen. So that was my first experience, and so it was a bit less intimidating because it's a bit touristy. You see other foreigners, and it's easy to just follow along, looking at other people, but not looking too much because it's an onsen. Uh, but yeah, ever since that experience, I try to go to the onsen as much as possible. I actually have one in my gym. So every time I work out, my routine is to go to the onsen afterwards. I love it. Everyone should do it.
So yeah, because onsen is very Japanese. You
Yeah.
have to remove your clothes and you have to be it's totally Japanese culture. So especially people coming from West or they find it a little bit strange here.
It takes a minute to like adjust, like you're not used to being completely exposed in front of other people, and then you have to walk between several rooms, go outdoors, so your body is not used to it either. Uh, but the sooner you realize that it's all in your head, the sooner it'll be over for you. Like, the anxiety, because no one else there feels that it's odd. They grew up with this.
True.
So so you just have to like act natural, pretend like you've been doing this for years, and just go.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I found it very difficult when I came to Japan actually because saw like the girls who were outside really they're very shy and everything, and in the moment and they're inside they really don't care. So I said, wow, it's really strange. So let me get used to it.
It's a safe space, definitely. You can just be. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, it says yeah, you are into architecture, so it saves place. Yes.
No, no, no. I said it's a safe space.
Oh,
Like,
safe space.
yeah,
Yes,
you
definitely.
don't feel because I guess the separation of men and women helps with that, I guess, because when I speak to my friends who are men, they have maybe a different experience, like in their side. But on the women's side, there's like this very like, it feels like woman's zone, like it literally is, but it also feels very like the mothers there with their little children or like the grandma. Like you see all the different age groups, and it's a very beautiful space, I think.
Exactly, exactly. And community gathering. It used to be like
Yeah,
their culture, the whole community they used to gather there. They talk to each other. It's kind of thing they used to have before. It is definitely it evolved. It has become a little bit different, but even if you go to countryside, it's like the community is coming and they are just talking.
definitely. I had an experience in Kanazawa. So I went to a really small onsen near my Airbnb, and it was completely local. It was not a touristy place. So when they saw me there, like everyone was kind of like, they stopped for a minute. They were like, okay, this is something new. And so I realized when I entered that this is a ritual that these people probably do like every day, meeting up at the onsen after work or something and just having a chat. And then they see this like strange foreign element and it's like, oh, okay, this is new. But I mean, I was welcome and it was nice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That is not there. Yeah, so I'd like to talk about definitely like have you ever faced any racism or anything in Japan?
I I wouldn't say racism.
Mhm.
No. I mean, I was speaking of onsen, I was denied once at entering an onsen. The woman just kept saying no, no, no. And I saw others who were entering and she kept saying no to me. This was in Kanazawa as well. Small neighborhood onsen. So I felt really bad at that moment because I kind of, even though I couldn't really understand what she's trying to tell me, the feeling was there that I was not welcome because I'm foreigner.
Oh,
But,
okay.
but I'm not sure. Like, there's no way to verify this. But I saw other people entering. I was stopped, and I was kind of told like, no, no, no. Um, yeah, that was one that really stayed with me. I felt really bad because onsen is like already you're kind of exposing yourself literally. You're going to a place and you're saying, I'm willing to take my clothes off, bathe in front of all of you, and then they tell you no. So that felt kind of bad. Um, no, other than that, like as a no racism. I mean, you might be denied getting an apartment because of uh your citizenship, nationality, or whatever. Um, but I don't know. That didn't seem like racism to me. It's just like
Yeah,
it's you can't trust a foreign element in these like buying a house, renting a house, that's a really serious thing. So if you don't have like a credit history or something that they can verify against you, why would they trust you? So I
true.
don't think that. So yeah, it's these kinds of like small things. I don't think that there's like an overarching like, oh, like look at that foreigner walking down the street or something like that. No.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it's not very visible here.
No.
People are really polite, people are really nice. Maybe I'm sorry about your experience. Maybe some other reason was there, which was the language barrier you could not understand.
I mean, yeah, exactly. There's no way to verify for me. So it was just a feeling that I have and I took with me. So yeah, it's just my perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So, how about food? Like you loved onsen in Japan, so onsen definitely, one attraction in Japan. And how beautifully they projected onsen, right? Like the culture.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's amazing because like
Amazing.
when I joined my gym close to home, I was not expecting that the gym would have an onsen too. Like they have those stalls where you sit down, you have the buckets to take a shower with and everything. So I was like, wow, these guys are really serious about onsen. Even
Very much.
modern gym.
Ah, so this country is kind of, modern culture and definitely they're traditional. tradition and modern both are there combining so beautifully, right?
I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere they're doing, definitely. So definitely the next we'd love to know, like you said you missed
Yeah.
the snacks.
I miss
And
American snacks for sure.
so what food did you like in Japan?
What food did I like? I mean, what is there not to like? Burrito, I'm not even gonna go there. I don't want to try it. Like, just the experiences my friends have told me. So let's put that one aside. Um, what did I really like? I think the one food that really grew on me over time is tamago yaki. When I first tried it, I was like, no, this is weird. I don't like it. But now, whenever we go out drinking with friends or anything, that's like one of my things I order. Is like, I want tamago yaki. So that really grew on me over time. I think eggs in general have grown on me living in Japan. They're so versatile with the way they prepare eggs. So yeah, eggs. Yeah.
Tamagoyaki is very Japanese kind of omelet. It's a little bit sweet, right? It's very
Exactly.
different.
This
Yeah.
is the thing that like threw me off. I living in California, I was already kind of exposed to not traditional sushi, but the nigiri sushi. There were Japanese chefs preparing nigiri, so you're not just eating those rolls all day. So when I came here, I was really excited to try sushi in Tsukiji Market, and one of the sushis was with tamagoyaki on it. And I tried it and I was like, no, this is not right. Why is it sweet? I was so sad. But now, like living here for some time, I've gotten used to it.
Okay. So you love sushi.
I love sushi. It's been something that I've been eating since university, so for several years now. I'm very used to the idea of raw fish. My mom still is not so used to the idea of raw fish, but I'm always trying to feed it to her. Mom, you have to eat sushi.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you come to Japan, definitely that is you have to taste the
Yeah,
original one.
I mean, she came, visited me, and I said we have to go to like sushi place, and she was just kind of like, no, raw fish, I don't want to eat that. So I would tell people coming to Japan, just have an open mind. Things take a little bit of adjusting, getting used to, and it's just great. Like once you start enjoying pickled, I don't know, radish, things like that,
Yeah,
they will grow on you.
exactly. And especially the Japanese, they have very traditional healthy cuisine actually. Very healthy. Right?
Yeah. Whenever I'm sort of feeling sick, uh, tired, a little bit maybe down, I always try to make some like local food, like cabbage soup, tofu soup, like something like kind of hearty, Japanese, healthy. Yeah, the homey food has really grown on me. The We have a place near our office. We call it the fish place, and it's just run by two really old a couple. They're really old, and they serve us like grilled fish or fried fish with rice, miso soup, tempura. I mean, it's just all like really comfortable, comforting food. So the set meals have also really grown on me, and I'm gonna miss that, I think, the most from the food when I leave Japan. I don't think you can get that pretty much anywhere else in the world. Like you can get ramen, you can get sushi, you can get okonomiyaki also if you really want. But that set menu with like all the little stuff, I don't think I'm gonna find that when I leave Japan.
Exactly. I also love that set menu. And sometimes karage, sometimes
Yeah.
pickle and miso soup. That taste is really awesome.
It's the combination of everything. It's just a little bit of everything. I
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah. So how about the Japanese rice? Like it's very different from other countries' rice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it sort of took me a while to get used to it and also the way to eat it. Because I would eat with some Japanese colleagues and they would just eat the fish and then eat the rice like separately. I was like, no, aren't you supposed to mix stuff in the rice? Like, like Rajma chawal or something like that, you know?
True.
So now finally I've gotten used to it. So what I do is I take pieces of seaweed, the dry one, and then I put
The
it on
nori one.
the nori, the dry nori. I'll put it
Mhm.
on the rice, make like a little onigiri ball with my chopsticks and then eat it.
Oh, that's very, very different. I think nori, you are eating nori, you are eating sushi,
It,
you are eating all this set menu. These are very, most of the people are coming from India, they don't experience this thing. I think it would be very much eye opener for all the young youth who
I
really.
it's definitely a big part of my life has been my office. Like that's why I came. That's where I met all my friends. So even this is because of that, because the fish place that I told you about, that's where it all started. That was my first like experience with authentic Japanese food. And we went there with a Japanese colleague. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. If I was in a bubble just living with, let's say, people from India or people from just foreign
US.
countries, you
Mhm.
would not get the full experience. You have to make some Japanese friends or find friends who speak Japanese at least, because these smaller restaurants have no English menus and all the menus are written in like handwriting, so you can't even translate it with the apps. So you have to go there with someone who can understand the menu.
Exactly, and those are very authentic experience, which you are not
Exactly.
going to have. So I think it's if people are coming to Japan, they should have those experiences. Come going to
Definitely.
right, yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
what?
the thing. Coming to a new country, you kind of should. Otherwise, it's you missed out, in my opinion.
Totally, totally. So three things if you want to take from Japan to what would that those be?
Can I say the kombini is one thing?
Okay,
Can I
sure,
say
sure. Convenient too.
I will take I'll take the 7-Eleven with me or Family Mart, one of them. I would take the electric the thing that controls the heating in the house, that
Yeah,
controls the bathtub and the water and the kitchen and
it's
everything.
gas. Actually, the proper actually it is gas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would take that panel with me.
Okay.
And what else? One last thing. I have to make it good. One last thing. What would I take? Maybe I'll take the woman from the fish place with me so that she can keep making me all that food.
Great, great. She'd love to visit, I'm sure. But after a few days, maybe she'd say, okay, I have to go back to Japan.
Please stay.
Yeah. So three things, conveni and those panel for, heating the water and everything, and the lady from the fish place. Okay. Three things you have already chosen. So you have to give, the Japanese government, we have to just tell the Japanese government, these three things Amy wants.
I'm really considering my life after Japan because it's getting real now. And I was like, what am I going to do without the kombini, you know? So like you
Oh.
leave the house and okay, I forgot to charge my phone. I'm in Shinagawa. I live in Bunkyoku. I'm not going home. Okay, I'm going to the kombini 2 minutes away, buying myself a charger. Or I'm so thirsty right now. Vending machine, kombini, like so many options.
Life is so convenient, right?
Convenient is literally the word I would use to define Japan. It is convenient. Even though people may think that because you don't speak Japanese, it's such a different culture, it seems inconvenient. I'm not going to bother. It's so convenient, ironically.
Exactly. Life is so convenient, so you have to take the conveni.
Yeah, I'm taking the conveni.
Actually, that is convenience store, so convenient.
Yeah.
That exactly. So you never found those kind of facilities in Singapore or US?
No, you do, of course. I mean, Singapore is another like country that is defined by convenience. Maybe Japan is even better, but Singapore is like up there as well. It's like number two. Maybe it's fighting for number one on the scale. America, the US, I lived in Los Angeles. And for people who aren't familiar with LA, like it's super spread out. Walking from point A to point B is like exhausting. Like you have to have a car. Public transportation is not convenient at all. Convenience stores don't really exist the way they exist here. You may find like a CVS, Target, Trader Joe's, more like grocery store kinds of, or pharmacies and those kinds of things. But the 7-Eleven concept is more strong in a city like New York, which is more dense, similar to Tokyo. But LA didn't have that. It's not. It's definitely. It's LA is actually more inconvenient city than convenient.
Okay. So since you talked about the transportation, we would love to know how was your experience, public using the public transportation.
Can't complain. I mean, it is literally one of the best I've ever used. If you're going to point A, you can go in three different ways. Like there's so many options. I haven't taken the bus here much, but old people seem to like taking it because there's less walking then. But the one complaint I have with Tokyo Metro is that they don't have enough escalators and elevators. You have to, at some point, climb a lot of stairs, which is fine for a person like me. But if you're older, or if you're injured, or if you have a lot of luggage from the airport, for example, yeah, like my first day in Tokyo, I had my suitcase and my backpack, and I just had to like carry it up like these huge stairs. But luckily, uh, train operator. He was at the platform, so he saw me struggling and then he helped me. But that was definitely something I wasn't expecting. I remember taking this hyper modern train into the city. You see the skyline of Tokyo, everything looks amazing. And then you land at the station and you're like dragging your bag up the stairs.
No, actually, they do have it very far away, actually.
It
One
it
station
depends
they have one, definitely.
it depends on your station. Like I
Mhm.
landed in Hachobori, which is
Oh, I don't think, yeah.
so very small station, and it just didn't have like any way for me to carry my stuff. But I
Hmm.
think they're making those improvements. They're realizing that the old stations are a bit outdated, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're constantly seeing that, like the station close to my house upgraded its door system like last month. So I think they're constantly trying to improve the facilities for people, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely, Tokyo. Now the many more foreigners are coming to Tokyo, not only in Tokyo to Japan. So I think they are also considering these things, and because I think that is the reason Japanese are so healthy, and they are until 80, 90. They're so they can do everything.
I mean, I've seen so many old people now climbing stairs, even when there's like an escalator next door. They really old, hunched over, carrying a bag, just slowly, slowly, slowly making their way.
Exactly. So
I can't
that is
imagine.
the thing again. That is the thing. We can take that. They never give up.
No, they don't.
See, so another thing also I took from your points that rail stuff was there and he helped you. So the positive things also there that there are people to
Yeah.
help you.
Oh, they're so kind. Like if you're lost, I still remember I was lost, and this guy was like telling me the directions, and before he finished his sentence, he was like, ah, and then he just started walking with me.
Yeah, like he will take you to the destination. Totally.
Literally, yeah. And
Yeah.
then when you go to restaurants or shop or something, not always, but sometimes they will come outside and wave at you till you've like turned the corner on the street and you're not in view anymore. Bye.
Actually, people who left Japan, they say that if you once you live in Japan, you cannot live in other country because you would miss these things definitely.
I mean, I am a little bit nervous. So I'm moving to London, which is, I've been there, I have experience staying there for some time, but I'm nervous leaving Japan and going there now, especially during the pandemic. Uh, because here, when you go out, you don't feel nervous that you're going to be the only one with a mask, right? You go outside, everyone's masked up, people are social distancing, kind of. They don't talk to you loudly in the train or anything. But in London, I'm a little bit nervous that people are not going to follow the rules.
So it's a very good news, I'm so glad that you within 2 years you experienced so many things and you just understood what Japan is, and I'm sure that Japan would love to welcome you again, you know.
I
So
mean, that was the point, was to come here and get an experience like no other.
exactly.
That was the whole point. And I think I got it. And so I decided that it was time to move on.
Great, great, wonderful. And it's so many things we came to know. I think the back home also around the world, people would be very much there, would love to come to Japan and experience these things, what you experienced.
I
Because
I can make them like a list of things you have to do that you cannot find on Google. Because when you Google like top 50 things to do in Japan, it's like all tourist traps.
so you can maybe tell all the viewers at least five things.
Oh God. Okay. Okay. Go to an onsen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just like go to 7-Eleven and like get some drinks, get some snacks, have a drink by the Sumida River with your friends. Um,
Okay.
what else? I would say don't skip out on parks. Like going to parks in Japan is amazing. Like even like the Imperial Garden, like Rikugen, Shinjuku Gyoen, Yoyogi. Like just go and relax in the park. Like my suggestion for people visiting would be to just enjoy Tokyo like a local instead of like trying to go to every site, seeing every temple. Uh, what else? I think the coffee culture here is amazing. The coffee shops are awesome. So I would suggest that people look up maybe 4 or 5 and like go visit them. And then lastly, I'd say um, maybe like some small galleries. Like there are small galleries around the city
Yes.
which
True.
display local artists. So like for example, like instead of going to the National Museum or like a large museum, go to like these smaller ones that show you local stuff, things that are happening right now, as opposed to trying to see Picasso, Van Gogh and stuff like in Japan. Do that when you're in France and Netherlands, you know?
True. When you're in Japan, be Japanese.
Yeah, just try to like be local because the local
Totally.
life is amazing.
Exactly, exactly. I'm very happy, after talking to you because I experienced those things when I came to Japan first. Still, I go for those things. I really, I never people really see like within their community or they don't like to experience the real Japanese stuff. But I'm so glad, knowing that you also did what I did or what I do. So
It's the best way to experience a new culture. So
exactly, that's true. So thank you so much for giving us so many information. I'm sure that the people, whoever will be watching this, they will be very much, excited to visit Japan,
yeah,
knowing your
for
five.
sure. Please visit Japan when the pandemic is over.
Great, wonderful. So thank you so much, and we would love to welcome you again to
For
Japan.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, everyone, that was Amy's experience being in Japan. Now, the fear you had about Japan, I'm sure that is gone and you are more excited to visit Japan. And I have one more request to you. If you want me to make special videos on specific subject, do let us know. We will definitely make those videos. So thank you so much everyone for watching. Do subscribe our channel Yoga Nupur. I will see you next Friday with our show Let's Talk Business. Until then, do take care of yourself. Do love yourself too. Subratri, good night, Vesminasai. Namaste.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.